In our society, there are three sectors: the public, the private, and the nonprofit. Our show focuses on that third sector, the nonprofits. I have with me today Jeff Mardis, Executive Director of the Golay Community Center, and Alan Austin, a board member from the Golay. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm really excited. I don't know if the audience knows that I live in Cambridge City, so this is kind of dear to my heart. This organization. I think that a lot of people in our community call it a jewel there in our small community to have such a beautiful center. So I'm very excited to be able to brag about it a little bit today and help people understand what really is there. So, Jeff, if you'd like to start by telling us a little bit about what the center is, why it's there, that kind of thing, just a little bit of background.
Yeah, just a brief history. Back in 1981, Charles Golay, who was an industrialist many years in Cambridge City, decided to sell his corporation and build the Golay Center for the community, the Western Wayne citizens. So he did that with the vision that would provide quality programs for the community. So that's kind of when we was at back then, and it was built back in '81, and we had about 300 members.
Okay.
So as you can see, a wonderful gift to the community.
Beautiful gift.
And as it grew, we kept growing in membership. And then in 1997, the board of directors decided we needed to do a restoration on the pool. So that took about a year. Did the restoration and increased membership up to about 600 members.
Oh, wow.
So then in 2003, they focused again, what else can we do to improve membership and quality of the facility? So they went into the fitness area and thought, well, it's a little small, so they moved it to a different area of the facility, which increased our aerobic equipment and our weight room equipment. So it was about 8 times bigger than what we had before.
Wow.
So this also increased the membership. So at this point in time, at 2003, we're probably about 700 members.
Okay.
And then in 2007, they went out and built an outside facility. Basically, it was a fenced-in outdoor facility with a gate and it included a basketball court, a volleyball court, and a tennis court. And then in 2008, they built a pickleball court. And those of you not familiar with pickleball, is a blend of badminton and tennis. And actually, it's becoming very popular across the United States now.
Right.
So it's really kind of catching on here now. But that's the last thing we've done. But over the last 30 years, we've slowly improved different things and increased on what we had. But we went from 300 members, and mostly through the 80s, to 600 range in the 1990s, to now we're 2,700 members.
Really?
Right.
Oh, I had
So
no
it's
idea we had
been-
that many members.
It's fantastic.
That's,
So
wow.
it's really grown leaps and bounds. So.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and another, I think, news item that we need to make sure that we put out there is you're relatively new in your role there. So how long have you been the executive director?
3 months now.
Wow.
So I can't take credit for much of that. So.
Oh, no. But you have been a part of the center for a long time. So
Correct.
I think it's important for the community to realize that. It's not that you're brand new to the Golay Community Center.
No, I was a part of the board twice, actually. So.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy the position now. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I'd like to make sure the community knows all about the programming because the facility is beautiful. I hope people realize what a valuable asset it is to our community. But as you've said, the vision was about quality programming for the whole community. So there's a broad range of programming. So I don't know if you want to start from the young end and work up or the older end and work down. But tell us about some programming.
Well, I think one of our best programs is the Senior Center.
Okay.
For Western Wayne County, we offer meals to seniors daily. We also have transportation where people, if they need a ride to the doctors, they can call the Senior Center and there will be someone that will come and drive them to here to Richmond or even Indianapolis if they have an appointment and bring them back. The center provides a car and all the gas and a driver, so they don't have to worry about any of those things.
I had no idea that was offered.
It's one of the areas where we need more volunteers.
Okay.
They used to operate on using funding from grants, and as everyone knows, the grants are getting harder and harder to come by.
Definitely.
And so Mrs. Gromer, who does a terrific job there, is always in need of volunteers. And it doesn't mean they have to be there every day. You can have a particular day. For example, if Monday is a good day for you, you can say, if you need somebody to drive on Monday, call me, I'll come in and drive, and then someone else takes Tuesday and Wednesday and so on. So it really does provide a great service for our seniors in Western Wayne County.
Wow. So that's one aspect of programming there. I think maybe people forget, they think of more young people or athletically inclined people using a community center like the Golay, but there's definitely programming and services offered for our valued, mature members of our community. So that's nice to hear.
Yes.
It's a huge part. I would say
It's a
20% of the
It's a
facility.
very huge part, yep.
Wonderful. Other kinds of programming, where would you like to start?
And speaking along the same lines of, not the physical fitness side of things or the youth programs, we have a daycare in the summertime and a preschool that operates during the school year.
Okay.
I think it's ran beautifully by Chris Clark. Does a fantastic job with that. And every child that comes out of there, it is definitely you see improvement from day one, and
Cool.
she just does a fantastic job with that. But from the youth programs, we do youth flag football, youth basketball, many different types of youth programs. From adult program side, we have the Zumba, the
That's
aerobic
popular.
works out. Very popular now. Become very popular. So that you have the aerobic programs such as you got a yoga, body sculpting, things like that. So there are just vast number of programs that we offer right now, and you can actually go online and see all the programs we offer. So
Great. Website address?
It's the Golay Center at Comcast.net.
Okay, great. I know that I have sons in college and one in middle school now. My sons have participated in youth programming there. I think it's wonderful. It's great. That part of it I've participated in some of the other activities as an adult as well. So, I can speak from personal experience. Lots of fun and great programming. So, other kinds of services or seasonal kinds of things that happen at the Golay that you want to tell the community about?
And I will say I kind of left out our aquatics area, our
Okay,
natatorium.
let's talk about a few minutes about
we
that.
do have water aerobics there, swim lessons there, so of all ages, and that's become more and more popular. A lot of people are coming to that and bring their children, the younger children all the way up to the older children, so that's becoming very popular. In the fall we do a kind of, it's a arts and crafts show, I believe it is, every year, arts and crafts show.
Okay.
And it's coming up, like I say, it comes up in the fall.
That time of year,
yeah,
getting ready
it
for the
is.
holidays.
Yeah. So,
That's fun.
One of the things with the pool that's important is we provide use of the pool by the elementary school, the fifth graders and the second graders
Okay.
at different times during the year, and the fifth graders are just getting ready to start, where they come over once a week and they have swim lessons. It's something that we do to give back to the community, and that's the purpose. Mr. Golay wanted us to help the community, and so we do that free of charge. They come over, they provide the bus transportation to the center, and then we have the staff there to help teach the children to swim. So.
Oh, that's a beautiful partnership.
Yeah.
Definitely, you can see that vision of Mr. Golay alive there.
he hits on a good point there, that it's not about programs that, and most of our programs do not make a lot of money
Right,
anyway.
right.
But we offer so many just charitable programs that we do. We do canned food drives, and we do an angel tree, and
Right.
we give out Christmas presents.
That
to
is
those
a popular
kids. That's
program
very
there.
popular. We work with Birth to 5.
That's right, for
yes.
playgroups.
Yes, so
That's right.
so we offer so many just charitable programs too. So
And that's what it's about, like you said, providing great programming for the community. So I guess I want to make sure that the question is answered that someone might be asking out there. Do you have to be a member to participate in all the things that we've just talked about?
no, you do not.
Okay.
You can buy a day pass and participate in any of the programs we offer.
So try it, you're going to like it, and then you're going to want to come more and more and more.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
great.
So.
Wonderful. I always want to make sure that we have a few minutes to talk about how a community can support such a valuable jewel in the community. What kinds of things? Alan spoke a little bit about volunteers in the senior center, and I hope that people consider that even just a few hours a week is going to be very valuable there if they can just give that much. But what other things have you seen recently, or have you been involved in the past that the community could do to support the center?
Right.
Well, one of the things that we always have is we have an annual fundraising dinner.
Ah, okay.
This year it was up at Willie and Red's, and we've had it at the Old Richmond Inn, different places, and we invite usually around 100 people, and we have a dinner, and basically it's a fund drive.
Right.
And we talk about our projects for the year and get folks to help with their opening their wallets. And fortunately, the community's been very generous. I know that this last one that we had a couple months ago, that we're nearing $20,000, I think, in donations from that dinner. And so that's, if you are asked to come to our fundraising dinner, we would ask that you please come and enjoy a nice evening, get a good meal, and then open up your wallet and support the Golay Center that way. And then any of the programs that we have that, for example, the craft show, please come, and because if you come to those things, then the vendors that are there will want to come back from year after year. Or if the community doesn't support those events, then the vendors won't come the next year, and then the event just ceases to exist.
Right. So we need to keep traffic there. I'm convinced that when people try the programs and the services, they're gonna want to stay. They're going to want to come back.
Right.
So, any other ways that people can volunteer?
We always need coaches for our youth programs. Always. I've been involved in that many years.
Yes, I know that.
And the more volunteers we can get, the better. It helps the Golay Center, and I found over the years the volunteers just do a fantastic job, and we appreciate everything they do. And other ways, it's just such a big facility. We can always find something for somebody to do.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Don't underestimate whatever it is you have to offer, because it's about making sure that stays there. I totally agree with you as far as the value of volunteer coaches. Like I said, my sons have participated there, and it was it's just a beautiful way to invest in the lives of our future. And so I think it's important to make sure people understand that that's needed. We only have a couple of more minutes, so what else that are we leaving out that you would absolutely want the community to know about the Golay Community Center?
I think one other thing that we offer is, for example, the New Day Kiwanis meets there every Friday, 6:30, 6:45 in the morning for breakfast. So it gives us a place where we can have speakers come in. They have kitchen facilities, so they serve our breakfast every morning. I'm a member of the New Day Kiwanis. We also have other organizations that utilize the facilities. The Sciotes used to meet there. So we're able to do that, and many of the businesses utilize our facilities for meetings. I know that Dot Foods and also Milestone have utilized the facilities. And Taconic too. I wasn't aware of that. But and also, if someone's having an occasion, like for an 80th birthday or a 90th birthday or a funeral dinner, things like that, the facilities are there. You have the parking. You don't have to worry about cleaning up at your house, because someone else will clean up the room after you leave, and it really provides a great benefit to our community in that respect, because we don't have, in many small communities, there aren't rooms that are that big that can handle that number of people. And if you have 100 people, it's hard to do that at your home.
Certainly.
So we're fortunate to have the Golay for that purpose.
Yeah. Lots of great things happening. Jeff and Alan, thank you so much for being our guests today. I hope people take an opportunity to come by and try it, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. I have with me now Tom Butters, who serves as manager, and Jim Reid, who is president of the board of directors of the Hagerstown Museum and Arts Place. Did I get that right?
You did.
Okay, good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm excited because to be honest, I really don't know a whole lot about the organization. I have learned a lot in corresponding to prepare for the show today. So I'm really excited to learn more about the organization, and actually two different, we kind of get 2 for 1 today, so that's kind of fun. So whoever would like to start by giving us a little bit of history about either the museum or the Arts Place.
Jim?
Well, the museum was started back in 1973 when a small group of citizens got together and was thinking, we need something to celebrate our history and to preserve our history here in town, and they wanted to start a historical society. And through the generous donation of one of the Teeters, I believe, they were given a house with some land, and they decided that the house and land were not in a convenient place to put a museum, and they sold it. And then it just happened that during that time, the Oddfellows Lodge, in Hagerstown, the group was paring down, and they decided to sell their building and go to a smaller place because they were losing members. And so the Oddfellows building became available. It's the tallest building in Hagerstown and one of the oldest, built in 1880. Shouldn't say one of the oldest, but it's been kept up so well, and it stands out in town. When the museum took over, they did sort of what the Oddfellows did. They had the 2 stores on the ground floor they used them for rentals, and that would help to fund keeping the building. And then the center floor was museum space. It had been community space. In fact, when Tom or anybody else takes people up, especially school kids, we like to tell them that a long time ago, Hagerstown High School, they graduated up on the stage upstairs in that building.
Oh, that's a fun fact.
Because they, could get more people
Right.
in and everything. And so it was used for the community area, and then the 3rd floor was used as the Oddfellows Lodge. The building is a historical place in itself. I mean, it's a real artifact. And we then have collected artifacts from the Nettle Creek Valley, Nettle Creek area, to try to preserve the history and then teach people and that who want to learn, of course, about their history. It doesn't take much, generation or two, and you don't know what happened before. And so by coming up there, they can get a picture of what Hagerstown and that area was like in the early days.
So people can come by, and they will be allowed to look and be told. How does that work?
Oh, absolutely. We encourage hands-on to the extent it's possible.
Wonderful.
As Jim said, the 2nd floor. I'll back up just a little bit and make a case for the Independent Order of Oddfellows, because this is a term that's less familiar now than it used to be. Every community, small community and large in America, had an Independent Order of Oddfellows chapter at one time. That time was a time that predated community social services, because the Oddfellows were there to, quote, take care of widows and orphans and bury the dead. You also had the Independent Order of Redmen, you had Knights of Pythias, you had the Masons, which of course survive. But these were volunteer organizations that took care of the community. Now in Hagerstown's case, they built a wonderful building. It has a classic 19th century cast iron front, highly decorative. The 2nd floor, as Jim mentioned, was used as the community center from 1880 to about 1915. And they had high school commencements, they had plays, they had operas. It was the town's opera house. And if you notice the floor on the 2nd floor, it clearly was a roller skating rink. It was used for that at one time too. We have a wonderful mural painted by a local artist, Charles Newcomb, in 1915, which is still in outstanding condition. And the building itself is really a great center of interest. The 3rd floor, as Jim said, is where the Oddfellows met. That was off limits to everybody. A big open room heated with pot-bellied stoves and open gas lights. It's amazing these places didn't burn themselves down because they were just open gas flames for illumination. A tall building, a brick building, a building that's in wonderful condition, and on the ground floor we have Jim's retail business, an antique store that's been there for 33 years.
Nice.
And we have Arts Place, which is our contribution to the community, in no little part thanks to the Wayne County Foundation, which has given us money to provide free art lessons to kids, free art lessons to adults, and soon free violin lessons and string lessons.
That's incredible.
To children. So we're making art as accessible as we possibly can to everyone. The museum itself is accessible to everyone, and there's a great deal to see there.
And you brought a couple of things, so let's talk history for a couple of minutes. Yes, and we know our time is limited. Let's talk history for a couple of minutes.
I have to talk about the Teeter family first of all, because the Teeters were a family of Dunkards that came from Germany and settled in the Nettle Creek area. And they gave birth to generations of inventors and entrepreneurs. And a chap named Charlie Teeter in the late 1800s invented the light rail inspection car. We have a working model of it, a small scale model, but you have to imagine that as being something that rode on railroad tracks. Charlie built that in Newcastle. He was in the bicycle shop business at the time, and he rode it to Hagerstown to test the premise, which was, can one man ride out in a horse and buggy and take this off the back of the cart and ride on the tracks to inspect it? It was hugely successful, and it made the Teeters their first great fortune. It was sold to railroads and mines all over the world.
Wow.
Going ahead a couple of generations, and by the way, I have to say the Teeters created the Perfect Circle Piston Ring Company, which also was based in Hagerstown, and which at one time was the largest piston ring manufacturer in the world. During World War II, they had 10,000 employees. But this is of particular interest right here, this chrome gizmo, which is an early iteration of what we came to know as cruise control, invented by the blind genius of Hagerstown, Ralph Teeter, who was blind at the age of 6.
It's amazing.
Became a graduate engineer from the University of Pennsylvania, was sought after by the War Department for his keen hearing and his ability to discern problems with ships, for example. And Ralph, toward the end of his days at Perfect Circle, where he was the CEO, invented cruise control because he wanted to devise a way for smoother rides around town. Clearly he couldn't drive. He had a driver, and his driver was sometimes unsatisfactory. So Ralph reasoned that if I could invent something that would take the acceleration control out of the driver's foot, then my ride around town is going to be a lot smoother. And this particular device was one of the early ones. It's mechanical, it's electromechanical. And of course, as we know it now, it's cruise control. It was known as the speedostat in those days. And well, virtually every car in the world has them on it now.
And amazing. Hagerstown, Indiana.
Hagerstown, Indiana.
We need to celebrate our history. We need to celebrate our heritage. So anything else about the museum that we want to make sure that people understand that's available to them? And in particular, let's transition also towards how they can be supportive. How can the community be supportive of the Hagerstown Museum?
Well, one way, I think, is definitely to come up and see the exhibits. And I know some people will say, well, I was up there in 5th grade, and then, well, the exhibits do change. we do change them around, and some come and go. Some go into storage and then come back out later on.
Okay.
But see the exhibits, and everybody learns something up there because you find the history of the region. And another way to help is if you have something that's very pertinent to the region, an artifact that may be from your family that maybe you no longer know what to do with, but you kind of want it preserved, the Hagerstown Museum is a great place to come by and talk to us, and it's surprising what comes through the door, and we're always surprised that is really important to our history,
excellent idea.
to the
Great
area.
way to make sure something, even if it's not of actual financial value, of sentimental value for the community, keeps preserved.
Right. It doesn't have to be
Right.
the financial thing by any means. So it's preserving the history of the area. Now we're not looking for something from Muncie or from even
Right.
Richmond. We're looking for the Nettle Creek Valley.
Right.
You know, there's a great museum in Richmond for that, the Richmond
Certainly.
things, of course.
Great.
I might also mention that we appreciate bequests.
Yes.
We want people to
Certainly.
remember us in their estate planning because we are a 501c3.
There we go.
There are tax advantages that the Hagerstown Museum and Arts Place can offer. And being a charity, we could use some more top of mind of people when they make when they plan their estates.
Wonderful. As far as the Arts Place, how can people get involved? How can they be supportive? What kinds of things do we want to make sure the community knows? We only have a few minutes
Come
left.
look and see. It's all free. You can take
Can't get any better than that.
The art lessons don't cost anything. Every Saturday from 2 to 6, we're out there flinging paint around and painting our hearts out. That's for adults. Kids, free lessons for children every Thursday from 4 to 5. You don't pay a thing. You don't pay for the lesson. You don't pay for the paint. You don't pay for the canvas. When the violin lessons begin, and I should add too that we would appreciate any donations of violins or string instruments that can be repaired and can be reused, because we don't have enough and we're searching for more. But give us a call. We're open from 1 to 6, Wednesday through Saturday. Somebody is always there upstairs at the museum and downstairs at Arts Place. We welcome visitors. We welcome new artists. You don't have to have a lick of talent, by the way, if you want to come in and take painting lessons. We just want to make it accessible to everybody, both the history of the Nettle Creek area and art at Arts Place.
And one of the things about the museum upstairs, a lot of art went on up there with the plays and poetry readings
Certainly.
you know, entertainment up there. So art has been a part of that building from the very beginning.
And a part of the history of the community.
Yes, yes
So,
it has.
Yeah, it's a beautiful partnership there, I think. I think some people might question how that works together, but I can very well see how that would fit very nicely together. And what an asset, what a beautiful jewel, again, in a small community. And that's kind of what we've been focusing on today in our programming. So I really appreciate you being here. I hope the community takes an opportunity to do exactly as you've asked us to, and stop by and look and get to know the place and take advantage of the great opportunities. And again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
We
for
appreciate
a chance
it.
to tell our story.
Certainly. And thank you for joining us here on the Third Sector.